back it up. He already has this year in the NFL. But Lamar Jackson learned something, even in his MVP season last year, that it helps to have a signature move, one that he debuted last year against the Bengals.
I'm locked in. It's like a box. I'm locked in. I'm trying to go. All I see is the end zone.
Lamar made the right read off Carlos Dunlap. He came down on the running back. We kicked out 57, and he got vertical off of that.
Made something out of nothing, and that's what he does best.
Jackson will keep it on the read option. Spins at the 30. 10, 5, touchdown, Lamar Jackson.
That play right there, I wish I had a GoPro on my helmet for y'all to see that footage.
They'll be watching that run for decades and decades.
It was such perfect timing and so beautifully executed. His is better. You can't compete with current players. His is better.
When you've got Hall of Fame running back Barry Sanders throwing praise on your B button, you know you've made it. What Lamar Jackson did last year against the Bengals was the stuff of legends. A long line of legends who've been inspiring playground ballers for decades.
I was always trying to imitate some of those guys that I saw playing. Joe Washington, Chuck Foreman. That was always one of those smaller kids out there playing. So I figured, hey, look, it worked for those guys. Maybe it'll work for me.
Touchdown Lions. Holy mackerel. He is putting on a show.
I think it's one of those things where you understand that's a part of your arsenal and something you can do if needed. But I can assure you, like, just like in my case, Lamar, he's been doing that, ever since he started playing football.
But hey, as Jackson proved, this move isn't just for running backs. Then again, as perennial Pro Bowler Dwight Freeney showed us, it isn't just for quarterbacks either.
I try to make things look exactly the same until the last minute, and that's when I would pull the trigger and do the spin.
Well, Dwight Freeney reaches into his bag of tricks and pulls out the spin move right away.
Back in the day, for me, and one mixtapes were huge, where they would have basketball players doing just the craziest crossovers, spin moves, and all types of stuff, right? So I was on the practice field, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to do a spin move in football.
You see, the spin knows no bounds. Its swift use of centrifugal force has been used to dizzy on the field, dazzle on the court, and astound on the ice.
Skating is like a more technical sport, so the precision of where we're stepping, of how we're controlling our body as we're turning, those are all parallel to what I saw with Lamar. He's able to contort his body so that he's able to stay in balance, stay centered. I mean, his positioning, his core strength, his mobility, all would translate directly onto the ice. So I'm sure he'd be quite the figure skater if he wanted to be.
This is a picture of Lamar Jackson doing his famous spin move. I'm not a Picasso.
He said he broke his ankles, and then the guy said, oh, snap. And that's when he does the spin and it goes all the way to the end zone.
And it says Lamar is the best at the bottom.
As past generations have already put their own spin on this move, Jackson's highlight has now inspired the Reisterstown Mustangs youth football team, located right outside Baltimore.
I jumped on my seat so fast when he did it.
I thought it was crazy.
When that highlight was around, that had to be my best week ever.
Everybody wants to emulate Lamar Jackson, so they want to do the spin move.
I just got to practice on switching hands when I do it. And when Lamar did it, everything was on point.
The spin, the sprint, and the score.
When I'm running the ball, it's just what the defense gives me. I just try to take advantage of it. He is a force to be reckoned with.
I don't think there's anyone that has this type of ability with his arm and his leg that's played in the NFL.
Love that. Thanks to Jeff Darlington for that. Randy, what were you saying earlier about growing up as a kid when you saw Barry Sanders do something like that?
instantly going out to the backyard to try his move.
Yes, I think a lot of people around America can appreciate that, but you said don't switch hands, right?
Man, if that young man switches hands, he's going to ride the bench. Don't you do that, young kid. Keep it in one hand.
Right there.
Keep it in one hand.
Well, we figured why not do a little top 5 best spin moves all time. Rex, can you start us off?
All right, number 5, Vikings versus Bears, man. My dad was a D-line coach. I used to watch this every week. Chuck Foreman, there it is, the original spin guy right here. He just makes everybody look foolish, and he would do it every single week. Take another look, guys. Look at that Chuck Foreman. Chuck Foreman, do you even know him?
All right, number 4, Tony Dorsett, y'all.